Hi Flosstube, this is Deb from Frog Cottage Designs. It's Wednesday, April 29th, and we've just started our first day back at school. Well, not school, working, doing school from home. So I only have my high school kids at home. Primary started back today, and since we live in a rural area and we have a small school, we only have 9 kids in the school. So all along through all this quarantine, the school has been open, so the kids have been able to go. Our little Miss 11 didn't go after we came back from Fiji the middle of March because we had to be quarantined because we're overseas, and then it was only a few more days till the school holidays anyway. So I think this is the start of our 6th week of doing school from home, I think. So anyway, our government has let us know that week 3, so only 2 more weeks, that the high school kids can slowly go back to school. What they've done is the different years go on different days. So I've got one go in year 7, so she'll go on Monday, one in year 8, so he'll go on a Tuesday. Our grandson who lives in our B&B cottage here, he'll go on a Friday, and my year 12 will go every day. So they're allowing year 12 back full time because they've only got another term. I think a term and their year 12 is over, and then they have all their studies for their final exams to finish school. I'm not sure what that is in the States, but we call it year 12. So the kids have been at school 13 years. So yeah, what have we been doing? The kids have been camping over the holidays, motorbike riding, building cubbies, fighting. They've been quite busy, I think. Most of the days we try to keep the technology to a minimum so they could get outside because the weather's lovely here. We have 22 to 25 degrees days, and it's only starting to get down to about 12 degrees at night now. We've done all our chopping of all our wood, hopefully, for at least 6 weeks. I'm sure the hubby and the son-in-law will go out again and get another huge load for our 2 households. And that's about it. I'm a bit excited that now they've relaxed some of our restrictions, and 2 adults and 2 children can now visit friends and family. So that means stitchy time with Miss Chrissy and all my other girlfriends. So I'm a little bit excited about that, and it also means that my bi-weekly cup of tea with my 2 girlfriends that are local here in our village, we can get back to having our cups of tea again. Lately we've been doing over Messenger or Zoom and that type of thing. So it'll be nice to actually sit down and all be at the table together. So looking forward to that. I already have a date on Friday for that, so I'm a bit excited. What are we going to do? Oh, Mania starts on Friday, 2 more days. I actually went through all my kitted items, and I thought I would be doing what Lindy stitches, her Flosstube. What she's doing is you set a goal for one of your whips, you work all week, and if you meet that goal, then you're allowed to have a start on the weekend. I thought, yep, that's pretty good. I've only got maybe 4 or 5 starts. But when I actually went through all my kitted up items, I have 19. So either I will cut that down, or I'll do a new start every 2nd day. I'm really not sure. I really have been trying to get some of my Stitchalongs up to date because I have 3 or 4 or 5, and they're a bit behind. So not sure what I'm going to do there, but I will have a separate floss tube for that so I can show you what I've kitted up and my flosses. I think only 3 I'm waiting for the fabric, and that's from 123 Stitch, and I did order on the 9th of April. But I don't think my order's been dispatched. The date keeps moving. So fingers crossed that it will come in the next week or so. Usually if I do an order, it only takes about 10 days. So fingers crossed that it's here soon. But this weekend I participated in 24 Hours Across Stitch with Jen Lee, Quaker Stitches on Instagram. Normally I'm on Team Sleep, so I'd start... in America they start on the Friday, and so I start on the Saturday, so it's the same time for posting and everything. And I only did, I think when I added it up, I didn't do very good at all actually. I had 13 projects listed down, and my goal was to work 2 hours on each. And actually I only ended up working on 3 for a total of 12 hours. So I spent 2 hours on Gone Batty, 4 hours on Harry Potter book covers and Letters from Hogwarts, which is one of my Stitchalongs. I spent 6 hours on. So that was, what was that, Saturday, Sunday just gone. Other than that, I've been working on Linen and Threads. I started and finished The Key, which is Barbara Anna, and I also started The Light, which is the other one that Barbara Anna did as a freebie for the hashtag Be Well and Stitch. So that's all, and I also did a new start, which was Witch, Broom and Mousy from Bent Creek, and that was under my Halloween start, which is Stitch Halloween 13. I tried to do one Halloween start every month, usually trying to, I'd like to build up some ornaments, and the other one I do is my ornament sale, which I could use that hashtag as well, but under that one I'd like to do some Christmas, but I didn't manage to do that in April. Just ran out of time, I think. So I'll start on my finishes. This one's on, this is The Key from Barbara Anna, and I did it on a 28 Lugana Murky, which I just love. And that's it there. And she's finished. And I just love stitching her, and the detail, the colours. I think I stitched on her on and off over 4 or 5 days, and I finished her. She's gorgeous. My other finish is the Witch. Yes, I have. I've done a bit too close, but oh well. Witch, Broom and Mousy, and that's a Bent Creek, and that's from the Snapper series, but I just did it as a one-off ornament, so I think she's really cute. Yeah, so they're my 2 finishes. My other new start, yes, on the same fabric, because we're waiting for our Murky from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. Oh, which way does that go? And this is The Light. I think it goes that way. Yeah, I'll get a picture out. And this was a freebie on Barbara Anna, so if you'd like to get the freebie, if you go to Instagram and go to her profile, there's a link tree to download. So that's it there. So I'm going to do that as a companion piece to this is The Light, the other one's The Key that I finished, and I was going to do the Fruit in the Vines the same colours, but in the end I thought I'll have them as 2 separate pictures but side by side. So still thinking of how I'll finish that, but yeah, I started on that. I worked on that one for maybe a couple of hours, and then the 24 Hours Across Stitch started, so I just concentrated on my Stitchalongs. So that's that one. So in my Stitchalongs, and shall we be able to find them? Probably not. It's always the way, isn't it? I've sorted all of these out, and I think I've put my linen and thread. Or no, I've put it as the last one. Okay. So the linen and thread, I wanted at least to finish February, which I achieved. So that's it there. And I think February, yes, were these two, this one, and here. Now this is the creek bed gentle art, and this one's the verdigris. And I'm waiting on 123 Stitch to send me some more, because as I said in the last video, when I ordered this one from a different store, it came back closer to this one, and I do like the light and dark, so I want to continue that. So fingers crossed I get the same dye lot for 123 Stitch. Otherwise I'm not sure what I'll do on that one. So what have we got there? I'm ready to start March there on that one. So it's that one. What was the other one I worked on? Harry Potter book covers. And a lot of my time on this one was spent trying to work out how I'm going to stitch this. This is my first full coverage. Oh, sorry, I'll just get the cover. And I know a lot of people do parking, other people do something called cross country, which I only learnt of the other day. But yeah, so this is what it is, and I'm down here. And of course I started at the bottom when I should have probably started at the top. And there's my little Dumbledore for Harry Potter. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time watching some Flosstubes on how to park. So I started doing that, and I've only got 2 at the moment. But I did find it really hard to do that. Also have my pattern, which I'll quickly just flash, which is highlighted. Trying to find where I'm up to, and when I frogged a few stitches, I couldn't take the highlight out, which was a pain. Oh, sorry, I was about to say pain in the butt. That's what we say. So, sorry. So I watched, I did search for a few on Flosstube to see how people did their parking, and I've heard of the application on Android, which is Pattern Keeper, where you can highlight, it counts your stitches, finds all the symbols the same, things like that. And I had discussions with my husband, and he said, buy yourself a tablet. And I thought, oh, I can't justify, a couple $100 just so I can highlight a pattern, So when I was watching Teresa, her Flosstube, it finished because I was talking to my husband and jumped to the next one. And it was, she was highlighting, or she was showing us a program on iPads, which is called GoodNotes. So what you do is you import your PDF, and it's the same sort of system as Pattern Keeper, but it doesn't count your stitches or anything. But what I can do is I can blow it up. I use my little stylus on my iPad, and I just have it blown up big, and then I just highlight the stitches that I've done. And then if I need to frog, then I just go back, put the eraser, and take it off. So, and I can go from back from page to page, and it's really good. I'll show you a bit more on that one in my next Flosstube when I look at Mania, because I've been madly sending myself all the PDFs for my Stitchalongs, so I can import them into the iPad. And the other thing is, it's not my iPad. I've got a little mini iPad, but mine's about 3 years old, so I can't download the latest iOS or the application that's needed for GoodNotes. So my daughter's got a later model iPad and she's not really using it. And since she's not here, possession's 9/10 of the law, and I've downloaded it on there. And yes, I did ask her if I could use her iPad. So I played a little bit last night and it's pretty good. But I have to remember when I have to zoom with my fingers and use stylus for the highlighting, because I'd go to move with my fingers and I'd put a big highlight across the pattern. But it's just getting used to it, and it means that I can even do it on my phone rather than have the iPad, so I can just sit on my lap and it zooms and I can just highlight as I go. And I'm keeping it on the cloud, so whether I use my phone or my iPad. So I'm a little bit excited about that because I was a bit disappointed I couldn't get Pattern Keeper. Yeah, so what else did we do? Got a bit sidetracked on that one. Oh, Gone Batty. That's the other one that we did, or I did, sorry. Before I started, I had to frog, I think 3 rows of here, because when I was closer, I had gone over half a stitch. So just get that ready. This is on a Sand Lugana 28 stitch, so there's my little Hermione from Mind Your Needle in Australia. So I did a good effort on this one. I did most of the cat's body. Where's that? Most of the cat's body and a bit of the green. So that was about 2 hours. And I'm not sure how many stitches, I don't actually count. But I was happy with that progress. So especially that I put it away because I knew I had to frog it. So just show you that pattern. And that's by With Thy Needle and Thread. Yeah. So I think he's a cutie. So I worked on that one. That was what I worked on for 24 hours of cross stitch, and I had worked on it through the last fortnight as well. But for 24 hours of cross stitch, I spent 2 hours on that. I spent 4 hours on the Harry Potter on this one. Most of it was, I had to frog some, and I was just trying to fill in this area here so I could work in a square of 100, like people do a square of 100. So, but now I've got the program. My aim is to do the whole column up and then start from the top and come down. It's just easier to park the threads. Letters from Hogwarts. That was my other one. And this is a sad, neglected stitch along that I've got. And I'm still up to chapter 1. Oops, all the threads. So this one's on Facebook under Cunning Stitches, and he also has a blog. So it's free. Every 2 months he sends out a letter from Hogwarts, and I think we have 6 chapters. So we've received 2 chapters so far, and I think the next one's due on the 1st of May. That's why I wanted to hurry up and finish. And it's Stitch Your Own Adventure. So in the last one, it talked about fire, air, water, and earth or something, and I chose air. So when I chose air, it meant that I had a different stitchery to stitch, so there's all different, and then from there you choose something else, so it creates your own little you create your own little stitchery. So, but I haven't finished the top, but I did, I needed to go down and start the letters. So here you have all sections with the letters. I think I've got the, is that it? Yeah. Probably can't see too well, but here's all, they all go down and each chapter is in a different section. So this is chapter 1, chapter 2, I'm not sure where chapter 3 is coming out. So I still have to finish Hogwarts Castle, but I'm doing more detail than what was on the original, and I changed Hedwig to grey. Somebody did it as grey and I liked that, so I asked for that, where Hedwig was the brown. What else? Then we've got Hogwarts Express, and then we're supposed to have another Hedwig, and someone put 9 3/4 platform sign, so I'm going to do that. And I still need to finish here my wand, but I've started on the banner, which fills most of this, and it's nearly full coverage, and that's the Gryffindor. I'll do a quick one. Whoop, is the Gryffindor banner and the little Hogwarts crest at the bottom. So I have a lot of work. So, but that one I want to focus on Mania. As I said, I want to focus on all my Stitchalongs for Mania to try and get them up to date. I'm not looking to finish, which I think Chopping Mall just finished, Universal Monsters finished, but just a bit more up to date. So, which will free me up to be able to keep up to date with all the new starts I want to do. So that's that one. And that's all that I really worked on in the past 2 weeks, because I did the light, the key, the witchy broom. I worked on my linen and threads, the Gone Batty, and the Hogwarts. Ooh, I did buy, or I didn't buy, yes I did buy. I bought the Blackbird Sewing Club, and then I also joined the sewing club with the Cruel Goblin in Sydney, and what that is once a month for 8 months, they will send you a kit for any item, 8 random items. So we don't know which one it is that we'll receive. And when I went through, I really liked this little pin cushion. I thought that was quick, cute, you know, easy to. And guess what? They sent, was the first one, was the actual pin cushion. So I received all the threads, the linen, lavender to go in it, the backing fabric, the stuffing, what do you call it, a needle, and some little pins to put in for when it's finished. So I've listed that down now as a new start for Mania. So I'm really excited. And also, I don't know what, let's have a look. Did they say? Yep. This is 32 count weeks dye work linen. So it doesn't say the actual colour, but it's 32 count. And I haven't done that before, but I can actually see these holes. I can see those, which I am really surprised, because when I look at this 28 count, I've got to strain sometimes to have a look. So I know that when they're dyed, it shrinks and everything. But yeah, so I'm a little bit excited to start the 32 count linen and to have a little finish. Hopefully doesn't look that big. That hopefully I'll have a finish in May, because in June I'll be getting another one. So yeah, I'll have a look. So that's a nice new start. The other things I have is that's it. I think the only haul I had was my sewing club. The other haul hasn't come yet from 123 Stitch, which I'm fingers crossed, because I've got thread coming, a couple pieces of murky, some other dark fabric, I think stormy or dark grey, something, so I can start the new Kaluna Brightburns catalogue for Witches Familiars. So that's the new stitch along that I've purchased, but I'll wait till Mania to actually start that. So that's really all I've got. Oh, I know what else I've been doing. Part of Frog Cottage Designs is, sorry, that was a little fly on the camera. I thought, oh, why has it gone dark? So I've got some little friends. But Frog Cottage Designs, I used to do quilting and I used to make patterns. I started the business in 2008 and in 2013 I broke my leg and I spent 6 months with my leg in the air and just lost all my sewing mojo. And it took good 18 months for me to start sewing again. So I stopped designing my quilts and pillows and raggy dolls. And then in 2018, a girlfriend and I started Lost in Play, and that's handmade, nature-based toys for kids. And we used to go around to the preschools and sell them play mats, peg dolls, story stones, tic-tac-toe. What else do we have? Scavenger hunt, board boxes, yeah. And then that disbanded only like maybe 10 months later, as my girlfriend, she's a foster carer like myself, and she received a high needs baby that was a couple of weeks old, so she couldn't invest the time anymore with hospital visits to actually keep it going. So I kept my side of the business going, and I have an Etsy store called Frog Cottage Designs, but Lost in Play is on there. And in Lost in Play, I have things called story stones, and that's what I did yesterday. So story stones are stones with pictures on them, usually 10 to 12 per story or bag. And what it is it tries to encourage the child's storytelling. You can use them for when kids are young, just to identify different things. Like we have fairy tales camping, we have Aboriginal story stones. I got space camp, pirates, prehistoric. I think I've got about 12 different variations. And what the kids do is they go once upon a time, they put their hand in the little pouch and they pull out a stone. So, and then they tell their story. And then when they get stuck and they don't know what the next line will be, they pull out another stone. And then that type of thing. So yesterday, not sure if you can see, but there's all stones there. Not sure if you can see all those. I just brought them in. They've been out drying. They are 2 sets of Aboriginal stones. And one is Dunby the Owl. And the other one is How Birds Got Their Colour. And they are based on 2 Aboriginal stories. And the other one I have is Tiddalik the Frog. So just because in our region there was some Aboriginal preschools, so one of the preschools asked me to design a few sets for them to use in their preschool. But I still take orders on Etsy, and someone placed an order. So these are off to Queensland tomorrow to make someone's day brighter, I suppose. So yeah. But maybe next time I'll show you a couple of other things for the Lost in Play. Yeah, I try not to advertise too much on this Flosstube, that I have a website that has all patterns and threads and everything, because I want this Flosstube to be more of my stitching journey and recording. But for any Aussies, I do have a website where it was all my Lost in Play stuff, but I've added a new part called Lost in Thread, and that's where you'll find all cross-stitch patterns and threads. I just found it very hard when I first got back into cross-stitch last year that couldn't find a lot of the patterns in the stores here in Australia, in Sydney, that have one or two of Plum Street or Little House Needleworks. So I contacted a wholesaler, and now I just buy the patterns in. So, but anyway, and before I go, have to say big shout out, hi to Lily, my #1 fan. I did forget last Flosstube to say hello, but she's my #1 fan, and the reason why my views are so high, my girlfriend Chrissy, you know, she goes out, she comes into the lounge room, and there's me on the big screen. Lily's watching all the Flosstubes, and she loves it. So hi to Lily, hope you had a nice day back at school today, and to everybody else, happy stitching, and I'll put out another video on my Mania choices in the next few days. Okay, so happy stitching, guys.